You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Panic and anxiety.
One local mom recounts a jarring viral video showing her teenage son being beat up at school. Her hopes for the students involved. And Baltimore bridge removal work underway to clear the Charm City's busy port, and the money race to support the victims' families. A live look right now.
And we have some showers, and I've even seen some lightning out there, some thunder and lightning up around the Hagerstown region. We'll talk about it, show you the latest radar, and go into your Easter Sunday forecast coming up.
And arena deal done. What's next for the Virginia neighborhood that won't welcome the Caps and Wizards after DC won to keep the teams in town? Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9. I am Ben Dennis. We begin with breaking news tonight. Cell provider AT&T says it has started notifying millions of customers about stolen, sensitive, and personal data recently discovered online. The company says that they discovered data on the dark web that contains information such as social security numbers for about 7.6 million current AT&T account holders, plus 65.4 million former account holders. The company says it has already reset the passcodes of current users and will communicate with account holders whose sensitive personal information was compromised. And back into your local news, police in the district say that one person is dead, 5 more hurt after a crash in Northeast last night. It's happened on I-295 near Nanny Helen Burroughs Avenue. According to witnesses, a pickup truck was speeding when it crashed into another car. Police say that truck hit a guardrail, went over a cement wall, hitting another car before bursting into flames. The driver of the truck was trapped inside and died unseen. The passenger, meantime, was sent to the hospital in critical condition. Another car driving by failed to avoid the debris from the crash. 4 people in that car taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Staying in the district, police responded to this CVS after an attempted robbery when a van drove through its security gates in Northeast. It happened around 3 a.m. today on 12th Street. Security cameras caught suspects trying to force their way in while backing a white van through that gate, destroying part of the store in the process. Police say the machine ATM there was damaged, but no money appeared to be missing. One of the suspects left the scene in a white van, and another picked up by a third person driving a colored sedan. The investigation's ongoing. And in Virginia, a man is in custody after a domestic-related shooting that occurred overnight in Mosby Woods. Officials say it happened around 8:30 on Vera Lane. The suspect's wife told police her husband was Waisudin Kuraishi threatened her and her kids and that he may have a weapon. After that report, officers started searching the area and found Muhammad Zakaria of Fairfax inside of a car on Willow Crescent Drive with multiple gunshot wounds. That's where he died. Kuraishi is now facing multiple charges, including second-degree murder. And classes resume Monday, but it's not known if one DC student will be among those who return after several people attacked him in the stairwell at the Washington Leadership Academy. DC News Now's Dave Lavelle spoke earlier this evening to the victim's mother.
Physically, Tyler Corbett is said to be okay following the attack that happened at this school last week. Emotionally, his mother told us she's still waiting to see if there are any lingering effects from what happened.
Initial reaction was kind of shock, right?
Yolanda Corbett stunned after she saw online video of her son's attack inside the Washington Leadership Academy March 28th.
It definitely gave a different kind of sense of urgency and panic and anxiety overall in the space that anytime you're not there to comfort your child when they're in crisis, you already, that organically comes, but seeing the video along with it just exacerbated it tremendously.
Corbett says Tyler is a 17-year-old senior and autistic. The attack by several people happened in a school stairwell.
Certainly I have a desire to see justice and accountability happen for Tyler because he is a part of a fragile population by being autistic.
While hoping to see consequences, Corbett also has sympathy for those who attacked her son.
I would like to see something concrete as to supports, restorative supports come for them outside of them just being expelled and put into the community again so that they can cause pain and trauma to another family.
Corbett said this is the second time Tyler has been attacked by classmates. The first happened about 5 years ago while he attended Inspired Teaching public charter school. Tyler Corbett did not go to school Friday.
It will be Tyler's decision as to when he returns to the classroom here. At the Washington Leadership Academy in Northeast, Dave Lavelle, DC News Now.
Our thanks to Dave. We have reached out to the charter school for comment. We're waiting to hear back. Time is 9:05, continuing coverage of Baltimore's tragic bridge collapse. We have just learned crews are starting to remove tons of steel to reopen the very busy port of Baltimore. It's been 4 days since a container ship rammed into the Key Bridge, causing it to collapse. A live look of that work being done tonight in Baltimore. The U.S. Navy is providing 4 heavy lift cranes to help with cleanup that can lift about 1,000 tons at a time. Officials say the demo crews are cutting the top of the fallen bridge on the north side and are working to avoid any impacts to underwater pipelines there. Governor Wes Moore says that his focus is on several areas: recovery, clearing the channel to open the port, and supporting the families who have been impacted. Recovery operations were suspended because of unsafe water conditions. Officials say the closure of the Port of Baltimore will have major impacts on both Maryland and the nation's economy.
The big part, and one of the challenges, is that the Key Bridge, which sits on top of the vessel right now, that weight is somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 tons. So our team needs to cut that truss into sections in a safe, in a responsible, and in an efficient way before it can lift those pieces out of the water.
And the cost and timeline to rebuild is unknown, but some experts say it could be anywhere from 18 months to several years to rebuild and could cost around $400 million. President Biden told reporters that he will visit Baltimore this week. He says the federal government will foot the bill to rebuild, starting with $60 million in federal relief. Over to your weather now, but first a video. You can see large waves pummeling the coast there in Central California. A storm system passing over the area yesterday, bringing high winds and rain to the region. Officials say thunderstorms are expected in the area through tonight. Scott, I have to ask if we're going to see that system when come our way, but right now we are dealing with rain of our own.
Yeah, that actually, the reason why we had pulled that video is because that is part of a system that is moving towards our region. But right now we're dealing with this completely different system. And you see here our local radar in the D.C. area. There have been a few scattered showers in and around the district. Nothing too heavy. Everything is fairly light. I walked outside without a umbrella or a rain jacket, and it was fine. It was not an issue. However, seeing a little thunder and lightning up towards the Hagerstown area, and the camera up there, and towards the Thurmont area along Highway 15 down towards Frederick, just seeing a little bit of light rain. Thurmont would see that particular cell coming up here in another 7 minutes. Emmitsburg in about another 15 minutes or so. Taneytown and Union Bridge also being impacted by that particular cell coming out of Pennsylvania. There were no severe thunderstorm watches or warnings in place. There have been some out towards the west. We'll talk about Easter Sunday's forecast, all coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Scott. Folks in the district celebrating Bloomaroo this afternoon and getting in more sights of the cherry blossoms. The festival spread across the entire wharf, featuring multiple stages, live music, crafts for kids, and even more, including martinis, blossom martinis, and a beauty bar. The event honors the cherry blossoms that blanket the city's landscape as their peak bloom is about to end. The event was capped off with a fireworks show at 8:30. And in Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin has vetoed legislation to establish a recreational cannabis market, saying it would endanger Virginians. Virginia legalized cannabis back in 2021, meaning folks 21 and older may buy it at dispensaries through the state's medical marijuana program. After the veto, Virginians won't be allowed to buy it for commercial use. The bill would have allowed large or legal retail cannabis sales to start in May of 2025. In a statement, Governor Youngkin said, in part, quote, states following this path have seen adverse effects on children's and adolescents' health and safety, increased gang activity and violent crime. Meantime, a group that pushes for legalization hopes that those impacted by prohibition says having an unregulated black market creates a more dangerous environment in Virginia.
Not a total surprise, but that does not make our disappointment any less. The list that he gave is a long list of misinformation, to be very honest, and that there is a lot of research that shows that regulated and tested marijuana will create a safer environment for all people, including our youth.
Without two-thirds majorities in Virginia's General Assembly, Democrats cannot override Youngkin's veto. That group says it's not giving up and will renew its efforts when a new governor takes office in 2026. And with cannabis retail sales and the minimum wage hike off of the table, one Republican Virginia senator wants to start over on the state budget. Our Haley Milan joins us in the studio with more.
Governor Glenn Youngkin has yet to sign the Virginia budget passed with bipartisan support back in March. And after the governor vetoed a number of bills and failed to get the Monumental Arena deal done, at least one Republican lawmaker in Virginia is suggesting a budget do-over. State Senator Glenn Sturtevant posted on X that it's time to get serious for a budget for Virginia, despite the General Assembly passing the budget with bipartisan support already. Youngkin vetoed a number of bills addressing Democrats' priorities on cannabis sales and gun control. And following the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore, Sturtevant wrote that the budget priority now must be the Port of Virginia. The hub will see much more activity as the Port of Baltimore is now inaccessible. The state senator suggested a special session to create a new budget. The governor does have line item veto power and can add funding through amendments. Now, Youngkin has said he won't sign a budget that includes tax hikes, as Republicans project that the proposed budget could add $2.6 billion a year in taxpayer burden. The new two-year budget is set to take effect when the fiscal year begins on July 1st. For DC News Now, I'm Haley Mylon.